We are talking with Steve from collegefootballwinning.com and SBR contributor John Ryan from johnryansports.com here on SBR TV previewing the 5 BCS Bowls. And now let's just come to the big one, Alabama, LSU, the BCS Championship Game, number 1, number 2. Of course, they met earlier in the year. It was 9-6, a very low-scoring game. I'm looking at this. I think we're going to see roughly a repeat. I would lean to the under, and probably if I had to make any bet, my favorite bet might be LSU on a teaser. Now, you're not supposed to tease college games, but this is almost like an NFL game. 40 is a very low total for a college game, and I think we're going to see the same thing. Tight, low scoring, very, very close, goes down to the wire. I think if you tease LSU up to 7.5 or so, you might be getting some good value. Other than that, again, I lean under. Steve, what's your take on this game?
Well, we've seen this game before, and we talked about it before the first time they played, and I said that these teams are so close, as everyone believed going into that game, that I felt the game would come down to special teams. And it turns out that it pretty much did come down to special teams. I have no reason to believe that things have changed all that much going into this game. If anything, LSU is playing a little bit better. I think perhaps the better play in this, rather than a side, is the under. With the total being at 40 here, and these are the 2 best scoring defenses, bar none, in the country, I cannot imagine how this game is going to get over 40 points with these 2 teams facing each other. LSU in BCS bowl games, they are 4-0, and all of them have been in New Orleans, which is exactly where this game is going to be played. I don't necessarily think that gives them a huge edge. However, it's noteworthy. According to our power ratings, we believe that LSU should be favored by about a field goal. And since this is a pick'em game, we're finding small value on LSU as a side, but much better value on the under when the total is at 40.
So, John Ryan, Steve and I both kind of see this game as similar to the first game. Slight edge to LSU, likely to be low scoring and go under. Is that how, do you agree with us?
I guess I agree on the one part, but I actually think this is going to be a high scoring game.
Really?
You look historically, when you have rematches, the first game gives you really no indication of what the second game's going to be, and many times the second game's a complete opposite. And there's several points, in fact, in that first game, even though it was 9-6. Alabama was able to move the ball against LSU. They had, looking at my notes here, they had 10 regulation possessions in the game. They gained at least 30 yards on 6 of those drives, posted 40 or more yards on 4 more. And 6 of the drives had at least 6 offensive plays, and 4 of them had at least 7. So there was very few 3-and-outs by Alabama in that game, and obviously there was very few 3-and-outs by LSU in that game. Keep in mind, too, that Alabama attempted 6 field goals in that game and obviously missed, I forget how many they missed, but they missed too many. And those, in a game like this, I can see those red zone situations now turning into touchdowns. On the LSU side of the ball, what they've been able to do, and it hasn't been more evident than in the last 2 games, they fell behind by double digits, and everybody in the country, including myself, said, "Oh boy, here they're finally met their match." And what happened? They simply wear down a team. It doesn't matter what the score is. That offensive line and that defensive line just continue to wear down the opposition. And I do believe, even though these are the second and third best defenses in the country, that they're the ones that are going to be sucking air come the third quarter. Moreover, the defenses are capable of forcing turnovers too, and some of those could be pick sixes. So I guess my thinking, Peter and Steve, is I'm not going to make a bet on the under simply because the first game was a 9-6 score, and especially when you look at the detail of the first game, that could have been a 24-21 game.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like, I do feel a little bit like the typical public square analysis being like, well, the score in the last game was 9-6, so what do you think the score in this game is going to be? 9-6 LSU? It's like, what do you mean? I crunched my numbers. I have all the numbers. I have the final score from the last game, so I know what the final score of this game is going to be. I mean, Steve, do you feel that that might be a trap that we're falling into?
I really do not feel like it's a trap in this case. Looking at these 2 defenses, looking that they are both run-first teams. So we're looking at chewing clock. We're looking at field position. We are looking at who can hold on to the ball better. So these are things that would suggest unders. So I still feel real good about the under here.
Thanks so much, guys. Great analysis, and we'll speak to you soon again.